I'm Shreya Bhattacharya of grade 11. I'm so happy to introduce you to our newly elected SPL and ASPLs. We have Harshvardhan Warrior as the SPL leading the council, Kim Min Soo, the ASPL for CIE, and Swarna Harit, the ASPL for NIOS. Firstly, congratulations to you guys. This year's election process went smoothly, and I'm so happy that our student council has such bright minds leading the student body. And I'm sure that this year is going to be a blast. And I can't wait to hear about all that you have planned. So let's get right into it. I would first like you guys to introduce yourselves and also tell us, as the ASPL and SPL, how important is this position for you? Let's start with Harsh.
Thank you so much, Shreya. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm Harsh and I'm an SPL for this year. I'd like to start off by telling you guys that I am a crazy football fan. Trust me, I'm the person that stays up till 3 o'clock to watch football games every night. So the reason that I think SPL is such an important position is because this is a representative of the student body. And according to me, what I believe is that the student body is the most important part of any school. I've emphasized this in all my speeches, from the first speech to the thank you speech, because a student body is what determines the ethos of the school. It's basically what the school functions around. And to represent them is such a great honor and privilege.
Min Soo, would you like to go next?
Yes. Hi, I'm Kim Min Soo, 11 from 11D, ASPL CAI. First of all, I want to take this opportunity to thank all of you who trusted me, and I want to say I am honored to be in a student council and in this podcast. To me, student council feels like a brand new challenges. I feel like it's not just a position to make decisions, but also to hear from others and interact with other students. In this pandemic, this position to hear and listen to various students feels so precious. This is the chance where I get to interact with other students.
Swarna?
Hi everybody, I'm Swarna Harit, the ASPL and NIOS for this year, and I want to start off by saying thank you to everyone who voted for me and believed in me. And this position is important to me because I've always looked up to the student body and the head of the school, as a role model almost. And now that I get the chance to be that role model, I definitely won't disappoint anyone. And I also love trying new things, and this is definitely a challenge worth, experimenting and doing my best.
Well, it's nice to hear that this position means a lot to you guys, and I'm sure that you will do everything in your power to make this a memorable year. And on that note, I would like to know why you guys applied for this position, and do you feel like you can create an impact this year? Min Soo, why don't you start?
When I first joined the school back in 2015, I was just blank. At the time, I couldn't even say a proper line in English. But first few months were like a repetition of boring days for me. But now it is not. I interact, I communicate, and converse with so many people. I don't think that's all because of my effort. Definitely no. Literally, everyone in this school helped me in one way or another. I can't imagine how I'd be without them. So just like they were there with me all the time, I want to be to support them. Though the whole student council and I cannot promise to make a dramatic changes to this school this year, I'm sure our dedication and endless efforts will definitely create an impact.
Harsh, what do you have in mind?
So the reason that I applied for SPL is because I've been in the school for 7 years now, that is from the 3rd grade. So the school really feels like my family because I've grown up around it. It's helped me become who I am today. So really the best thing that I should do to something that has given so much for me is to give back. When I joined in the 3rd grade, the first thing I saw was my seniors who were at that time student council. And I have to say I was awestruck. I was so inspired by them and I wanted to be just like them. Through that, I started liking politics and all that, which really started me to like being in a position where there is a lot of responsibility, where you can try to create an impact, right? And that's where impact comes in. honestly speaking, if I did not believe I could create an impact, I would have never run for the position. But the biggest impact that somebody can create is to create a change, or at least to set a foundation where that change can be created. So with my student council, what I want to do is create the foundation so that the future years are run very smoothly and beautifully.
That's a really good answer. Swarna, what about you?
Many of you might not know this, but I actually didn't know I was nominated until, I actually had no idea like elections was going on in school until my teacher called me up. So it was kind of a surprise. But then once I realized that I've been nominated, I kind of saw that, people had hope in me and thought that, I would make a good assistant school pupil leader. And winning the post would mean a lot to me. And it would expose me to an entirely different experience. And I definitely feel I can bring a new perspective to this. And the goal is to make, our school days more engaging and inclusive, especially during the pandemic and online school.
Right. So what do you guys think is the biggest challenge that you're going to have to face this year? Ash, we'll start with you again.
Yes. So I think the obvious answer is the pandemic. But to really go into the detail, I should say that our previous student council, they had zero time to prepare. And when that started, it was still a new thing. So people were still thinking, oh, we're coming to school soon, right? But now we know what type of situation we're in, and the likelihood of coming back to school is diminishing. So I think that's the biggest challenge, because we know that there might not be school. So we have to work hard to ensure that people get the same experiences that they did get in school, especially for the younger grades, because these are some of the best years that they can experience. Because when I was at their age, I used to see my classmates talk about Chota Bheem and all that stuff. And for them to miss out on that is going to be very bad. And it's also the final years, 12th graders like me, I mean, it's our last year. We're not going to be able to get that farewell and stuff. So I think recreating the atmosphere that we have in school is the biggest challenge.
Right. Minsu?
Just as Harsh said, it's the pandemic. Like in online school, we have very limited opportunity to get together. And for student council, it also means that we have only limited chance to meet and share the brilliant ideas that all of us have. Although we have emails and other means to communicate, it's not as effective as the physical school. Getting immediate feedbacks from student and teacher is very difficult. Moreover, even those ideas that we have aren't very visible in this online format. But just like the line that was said in investiture ceremony, how can catastrophe prevail over us? We will definitely find a way out.
That was a really good answer. Swarna?
Just like both of them said, the fact that it's online and we cannot, connect directly to the student body and, organize a lot of events that would have been fun. And, the fact that we miss the buzz in the hallway in school and the energy and the assemblies and various different activities that happen, that's going to be hard to replace online.
I completely agree with you guys. You guys said that you can create an impact this year, right? But do you think that the scale of the impact would decrease because of the challenges you guys have mentioned? Harsh, what's your take?
Yeah. I have to say that any great organization, what they do is manage to get over the catastrophes. Like Kim and Sue said, in our investiture ceremony, this exact line was used, right? So
right.
What I think and what I do believe is that us as a student council, this pandemic only makes us stronger, and we're going to work harder to create as much of a change as possible. Yes, it definitely does limit what we can do to some extent, but then again, it also starts new opportunities for things that couldn't be done otherwise. For example, online events, things like that, right? So I think it's a give or take situation.
There is a chance that the scale of impact might decrease. Like just as all of us said, in online school we cannot reach everyone. There's only a limited chance and limited opportunities, but that doesn't mean that we're going to put less efforts into it. The student council will still put all our efforts possible to create an impact. So I don't think that's a big concern.
Okay. Farna, what do you think?
Definitely the impact will be lesser than the previous years, and we will do our best to make it feel, you know, as homely and welcome as possible, because we don't want anyone to, feel, down during this lockdown. And yeah, we just want the energy to be high always.
Yeah, and I agree that what you guys have said, that since everything is based on online platforms, it's very tough, and we're just starting to get used to it. But what's more important here is I think we turn that upside down and remove the stigma away from it, and make online learning and events way more fun. And that comes to the next question. I think everyone is eager to know this, but what do you guys have planned this year? Harsh, you can start us off again.
So these are all surprises, but I'm sharing it here to you. None of these are confirmed. We're all working with the school to make these happen. But one of our first projects has been The Voice, which is going to be a platform for students to reach out to the student council, because, like, again, online, there's very limited interaction between the students. But there has to be an avenue for students to get their concerns across, not just to the teachers, but to the student council itself, because at the end of the day, we are representing them. So creating The Voice is one of our projects, and there is also the chances of an APL Instagram page coming.
Ooh, that's cool. Minsu, what do you have planned?
We do have various plans along with those activities that was initiated by the previous council, such as mentor hour switching and online breakout zone. We are thinking of starting an online assembly where students can gather and share their opinions. For now, it's just that we had mentor hour and sometimes mentor hour switching, but we never had an opportunity to get together as the whole grade. So we believe that such assemblies will help to improve the sense of togetherness. And another good news is that we're going to have online cultural evening this year. So I'm sure everyone's excited to showcase their talents.
I know. I can tell you that I am waiting for cultural evening to come, because that's a place where we can showcase our talents, as you said. Swarna, what about you?
Like they said, we have a lot of activities planned, and I'm not sure if this is confirmed, but also maybe a yearbook, but that's about it.
So what do you guys have planned differently from last year? And are there going to be any new events and new programs that we can look forward to? Harsh, again, you can start.
Last year, there was no cultural evening online, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
so
there wasn't
that's going
any
to be. Yeah, there wasn't. So that's going to be a big challenge for us, because it's such a special day for APL. And another thing that I really want to change this year is the Teachers' Day, because, I mean, especially the older classes, 12th and 11th, it's just the teacher's camera on with everybody else's camera off. And as much as I love to say everybody should turn their camera on, I'm guilty of switching off my own camera. But what I want to do is really, the teachers have been struggling extremely hard for us. It's much worse for them than it is for us. Because when I did my campaign rallies and I went to the 12th grade classes, everybody's cameras were off, and I felt like I was talking to a wall. And I realized that's what teachers go through every day. It's so dreadful. So we should really give back to them during Teachers' Day. But not just Teachers' Day. Teachers' Day should be the start of something,
Yeah, I agree with you. Minsu?
Just like Harsh said, we're gonna work on The Voice, where students can reach the student council members directly. We observed that last year, students and even we found it kind of difficult to contact them in person, even though we had some ideas. So we wanted to ensure that students have a direct contact with us, and we wanted to make sure that we're not just a student council member, but we're just the normal friends to them. So I believe that it's strengthened the sense of togetherness in this pandemic.
What about you, Swarna?
I mean, yeah, like both of them said, we're trying our best to include new activities, like maybe even a sports day. I can't promise anything, but yeah, we are trying for, different like annual days or stuff like that.
Okay, so you guys have listed down things that you plan to do differently. But what is your impression of the previous online student council, and how will their tenure influence the present student council?
The greatest part of the previous student council is the fact that they were the first ones to experience the pandemic situation, So it really takes a lot of guts to even volunteer to be on that stage. And I think they tried their best to change as much as they could given the circumstances. And they've really laid down a foundation for us to create new things. For example, the online mentor switching thing, or the breakout zones, which have been almost implemented. They're on the brinks of implementation. So these are all stuff that we are looking to carry on, because it's very important that students speak to each other, especially during pandemic, because nobody should isolate, everybody should be together, and school like a family.
That's so true. What about you, Minsu?
Just like Harsh said, we think they have given us a solid foundation and example of how we should go about. We all have different ideas. Some of students may think that they have done tiny things or even not very effective things compared to our physical school. But in my opinion, even if some of the projects that they have initiated was not as successful as expected, they have still given us an example of what we can do and what we can not. That I believe that would help us save our time a lot and work on other ideas. And I really want to take this opportunity to appreciate all their efforts that they have taken in this pandemic. It was great.
True, they were just faced to a situation where we hadn't faced before, the online method of student council. Like nobody knew that, we'd have to face something like this. And I think what they've done with that, I think that's applaudable, So at the end of the day, you guys plan to add a whole new flavor to the student council. And you also plan to continue with the previous council members had established. So, Swana, do you have something to add on to that?
Yeah, sure. I think the previous student council did a great job considering it was the first year online, and definitely we as a team can learn and build on from that. And just, creating awareness of our plans and making school more fun, especially it's our last days. So we just want to make it more memorable and,
Right. So nowadays I find that recently, because of COVID, majority of the students are demotivated. Like before, we had sports and other fun activities other than studies that were like stress busters, right? So what do you plan to do about that, and what's the best way to engage the student body during this time?
Yeah, so you're completely right. All the students are demotivated. Trust me, as a 12th grader with exams and college prep, I know I'm the definition of demotivation right now. But at the end of the day, this is where hope plays an important part, as we all strive, because we know that one day we'll be back in school. That hope keeps me running. Honestly, that's what keeps me running. And for me, I think especially for the younger kids is where it gets very difficult, because they used to have so many fun activities and they're really missing out on a lot. But that's where, again, online stuff gives us new opportunities to perhaps do like e-games or online games and stuff, where we can try to keep them engaged through some form or the other. And for that, we need to know exactly what they want. And that's where, again, the voice plays a very important role. So they can tell us exactly what they need. But like Minsu said, we're not just student council, right? We're their friends, and we hope to act as their friends.
Right. Minsu, what do you have to say?
Yeah, it is very true that everyone's demotivated, especially small kids who used to spend a lot of time. School wasn't just a place to study for them. It was a place where they get to learn life lessons and get to interact with others. It was an important stage for them, but now it's all gone. But however, the student council cannot promise anything. Nothing has been confirmed so far. Unless the pandemic ends, I don't think this demotivation as a whole will end. It only eradicated. We're not cool superheroes who can create vaccines in one day and just bring the physical school back. But I believe the whole student council will try its best to bring the student engagement and find alternatives. Just as Harsh said, we're planning to work on the voice where students can reach us directly, and also we're planning on different projects, just like Instagram, where everyone will be excited to know about.
What about you, Swarna?
I mean, yeah, everyone's demotivated, and we just want to get them involved in as many activities and, bring hope to them, saying this is not the end. You can still have fun even though it's online. And yeah, just what Harsh and Kim Minsu said. That's it.
So, finally, Harsh, you are dedicated to football, and we have all seen how well you play. And all of that has also been demonstrated to the parents as well through Sports Day. Can we hope to have something sports related as well this year? And also, being a sports lover has taught you a lot about teamwork, like you mentioned in your speech. How do you plan to work with the student council at the same time also keep the student body updated? Because I think having that bridge between the two of them is extremely important during this time as well.
So sports is going to be very difficult to bring in person, but sports is so much more than just a physical activity. So again, after speaking to the students, we can find out if they're interested in theory classes, etc., because that's what's been happening in my football coaching. Been watching football matches, discussing analysis and all that stuff. But I think the most important part that we can do for sports is make sure that when we do get back to school, there is a solid foundation so that sports can excel. I mean, just because we're online does not mean that we can't do anything that is going to affect the future, So we can speak to the school about various things that we can implement once everybody is back. And what was your second question? What was the second part?
I said, being a part of a team, how you have a football team, right? You guys work as a team a lot, right? So my question was, how do you plan to lead the student council and also create a bridge between the student council and the student body? Because I think that's very important, So what's your idea on that?
Again, this is where the voice plays a very important role, because I feel like that is the bridge that connects the student council to the students. And again, like you said, teamwork is very important, especially during a pandemic, because there are a lot of brilliant minds in the student council that from the 6th grade, everybody is extremely smart and extremely enthusiastic to put in their part. And the most important process is to make sure everybody's voices are heard, because it's so unbelievable to see such young kids taking so much responsibility on their shoulders. Yeah. I've seen in our council meetings some of the younger kids being much louder than I ever was. And it's really massive. So involving them, trust me, they're going to have to end up involving me in the team rather than me involving them. So yeah, again, teamwork, very important, and the voice will fix all your concerns.
I think that also reflects a lot about what you said, voice and, bringing out individual people's voices. I feel like our student body has so many ideas, and I think this app or this platform that you want to create, I think that will create like a space for people to convey what their ideas. So I think that's a really good idea, and I have to say, wow, actually, wow, it looks like this year is going to be amazing, and I'm really looking forward to it, and I'm sure the student body is too. We have come to the end of episode 2 of the APL podcast. Thank you for joining me today. I really appreciate you guys taking the time, and I wish the 3 of you the best of luck.
Thank you so much for having us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having us. It was a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.